Let's bring in our next guest from Infant of Prague, Stephanie. Stephanie, how are you?
Great, thank you.
So Infant of Prague, so is your adoption agency
Yes.
for European children?
No, we are actually for domestic children.
So the Infant of Prague means what?
It actually means blessings for children in the Catholic arena, and we were started by a couple of priests in 1953, 61 years ago.
Here in America?
Here in Fresno.
Oh, here in Fresno?
Yes, here in Fresno.
By what church?
The Catholic Church. It was a couple priests in the diocese, and we were part of under the umbrella of Catholic Charities up until the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
We're actually not affiliated with a church
You
now.
branched off and now you're all on your own now.
Absolutely,
Okay.
but we have a great relationship with our Catholic friends still.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the kids that you have up for adoption, how many do you have?
You know what? We average probably about one placement a month, but we work with a lot of expectant parents that choose to parent. So we're not just about adoption. We're about walking alongside a young woman, actually not always a teen, sometimes 20s, 30s. We've even had moms in their 40s that have an unintended pregnancy.
Oh, okay. So wait, so you're getting women that don't want their babies.
Well, they're not able to parent for whatever reason. And so
Okay.
really, even some of we always are out in the community teaching people that some of the language we use around voluntary adoption is very negative.
Mm-hmm.
And what we see with moms that make a voluntary plan of adoption is that they care so much that they want their child to have what they can't provide. And so they're really looking beyond their own loss. So some of our language, give up, give away, put up for adoption, and actually put up for adoption comes from when the orphans were put up on trains to come out west to be adopted. So put up, and so really, that language makes it seem like mom is just giving away her kid. She doesn't care. And what we see is really the opposite. It takes a lot of strength, and really,
it's a big decision. It's a
really
hard decision
to carry a baby for 9 months. And then to say, you know what, I want this child to have what I can't provide.
So
is amazing.
are you going out and finding these women? Are they women coming to you?
You know what, really, they come to us. We do outreach as far as letting people in the community know the pregnancy counseling services that we offer. And like I said, we're not just all about adoption. We walk alongside them, whatever their choice. And so when they choose to parent, we connect them to resources and help them to be the most prepared parent that they could be. And then we're also a full-service adoption agency, meaning that we provide supportive services to all members of the adoption triad. When I say triad, I mean the adopted parents, the adopted individual, and the birth parent across a lifespan. And because we've been around for 61 years, we have the opportunity to see the beauty of adoption really across the lifespan. We had an amazing reunion story a couple weeks ago where we had a almost 60-year-old adoptee meet her 80-plus birth mom for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
were you there to witness that?
I was there to witness their phone conversation, but I wasn't there when they actually met in person.
Wow.
But pretty amazing.
Now, the women that are pregnant and the adoptive parents, do they meet prior to the birth and then they get to know each other? Is this something of a shared relationship over a lifetime?
We practice open adoption, and that term is kind of misunderstood. It's not co-parenting like some people think, or we don't have stalking birth moms. I mean, birth moms that want to make a plan of adoption, they really want the adoptive family.
Do they give up how does it work? Do they tell the adoptive parents, I'm going to stay out, but you make the decision if I come back in?
Every situation is different, but from the beginning, the birth parent chooses the family. So when our adoptive families come through our process, go through the home study, which is really an in-depth psychosocial assessment, go through our classes and are prepared to take placement of a baby, they put together an album. And the album, actually, when the birth mom looks through that, it really is a depiction of who that family is. Vacations, extended family, if they have pets, all of that. By looking through their book, they get an idea of who this family is. So our birth parents choose a family. Our birth parents decide, do they want to meet them? Maybe they've narrowed it down to 2 families and they want to meet them ahead of time and kind of decide.
This is all really heavy, isn't it?
It's It's very heavy. Yeah. And it's, the connections that happen between the expectant mom, birth mom, and the adoptive family is amazing because many of our adoptive families come to us with infertility and have already experienced multiple losses. And so with birth mom's loss of making a plan of adoption and the adoptive parents' loss that they, come to the situation with, they just connect at such a deep level. So it's amazing.
Well, I bet you just have amazing story after
Yes.
amazing story to tell, right?
Absolutely, we do.
Now, how are you guys funded?
You know what? We have one big fundraiser every year, our wine tasting. It's going to be in Engelman on October 24th. And if you want information, please call the agency. We'd love to have as many people there. And, of course, Lomac has been there every year for several years. They're great supporters as well. It was just on the show today.
Right.
And
I remember.
Yeah, you remember that. And then we also, private donations, our adoptive parent fees. And
Now, is it difficult to become an adoptive parent?
there are a lot of hoops you have to jump through. You have to go through. We have a 12-hour class that's 6 weeks, 2 hours an evening. That's really goes in depth what it means to adopt for every member of the triad, and kind of looking at lifelong things that they need to know to be the best prepared that they can be. We bring speakers in, former adoptive parents. We bring birth parents in that have made a voluntary plan, and then we also bring adopted individuals in. And then they go through a home study, which is, like I said, a really in-depth psychosocial assessment. We do all the, live scan and, background checks, all of that. And, so it is quite a process, but it's not impossible. And so many we have wonderful families that are waiting to take placement of a child.
So are a lot of your employees volunteer employees?
No, we have a small staff. We have 7 on staff. And with adoption, all of the social workers have to be master's level. So it takes some in-depth skill, assessment skill, to kind of deal with, we are an agency that really supports both sides. And it's a dance, making sure we protect.
Well, I'm glad you came by. It was nice to talk with you about
really
this.
great to be here.